Good afternoon and welcome to Friday with Fiona. And today I'm using the Impressions of Bloom suite. I'm using the Impressions of Bloom stamp set dies and the paper, which is called Floral Impressions. Very bright, colourful flowers. And then on the back you've got more strawberry slush, pool party, darling duckling. So yeah, really lovely. So I've got some fun projects for you today. Today is the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to my American friends. Hopefully I've got everything ready. There may be the odd one or two things I need to get ready because I've had a bit of a week, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So the first one I'm going to start with, which I thought was appropriate, is red, white and blue. 4th of July today, and also Bastille Day on the 14th. So I can give this to a French relative. Yeah, doesn't say anything. I just thought I'd keep it simple. So that's the other thing to say. When you spend £25 in my online store, you get the kit to make the 3 cards. Everything except stamped images. So I won't be able to send you sentiments, but I'll be able to die cut the flowers for you. And in fact, all of my projects are using die cuts. I don't think I've stamped any this time. And I've also got a couple of fun projects to share with you on the side. So that if you spend £25 in my store on anything, glues, paper, whatever, your choice, then I will send you the kit to make these 3 cards. And that's until midnight on Tuesday, the 8th of July. Okay, so the first one we're going to make, it's a standard card base, half of A4, so 21 centimeters by 14.8, scored at 10.5. And then I took 3 pieces of cards. So it's Poppy Parade, basic white, and now, is this blueberry? Yeah, blueberry bushel, just a nice bright blue. And I ran it through the Dotted Circles 3D embossing folder, just for a bit of texture. But you could use any embossing folder. On this one, these are actually 4.5, and they didn't leave me a lot of space. I wanted a bit more white showing, so I've cut these down to 4 now, and we'll see what that looks like. And then my flowers I've stuck with the white, the Poppy Parade, and the blueberry bushel. So I'm going to use wet glue because of the embossing, and I'm going to do top and bottom and put the middle one on last. So how's everybody been with this very hot weather at the beginning of the week? Just didn't want to do anything. It was so hot and sleeping was just awful. Okay, so I'm going to pop that on there. I wanted to zoom in a bit, but I wasn't able to. So, okay, so that's my red. And then I'll do my blue. It's a bit more normal now, 24 degrees. Tuesday I spent 7 hours at A&E with my husband. Bless him, he was really not very well, and they wanted to keep him in, but yesterday was his birthday, so he was not having it. He wanted to be waking up in his own bed on his birthday. And then we went to Worthing and we had lunch at the end of Worthing Pier, which was absolutely fabulous. Now I've got to work out which, so I think it's that way, yeah. Okay, I'm going to take that. They're a bit too far apart now, but that's okay. We'll see what it looks like. And then you can decide which you prefer. I'll send you the 4.5 centimeter width ones. And then the white goes in the middle. You can still pick up that they're sort of joined together. Okay, and then I've used the long stem. I've got 2 of those, but I only need 1 in white. And I've got Poppy Parade with white centers in 2. So we're this one had 2 reds and 1 white. Oh, it's the same, 2 reds and 1 white, and the white leaves. So I'm just going to pop some wet glue on here. And it's just a bit of fun for a nod to this time of year. We would, in the past, well, up until including 2018, been in Arizona. We used to have a timeshare, but after my husband's stroke and then COVID, we gave it back. It was a Marriott one, it was fabulous, but yeah, he's not allowed to fly long haul anymore. So okay, and then I'm going to use dimensionals, and I'm just going to give these a little bit of you can use your bone folder. I'm going to actually use this pencil because it's a bit narrower. Just want the edges to turn up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to pop a dimensional on the bottom of that. And then this one needs to be up by the red. So that can go there. And then the reds. Oh, sorry, my neighbour's got a new dog. I'm sorry if these microphones picking it up. It's a right yappy little thing. I'm not really a dog person, I'm a cat person. Okay, and then let's pop that there. And that there. Now I haven't put any sentiment on it. It's just a bit of fun and a nod to today being Independence Day, the 4th of July. So let's bring it closer so you can see the embossing. Yeah. Okay, so that's card number 1. Just a bit of red, white and blue. Now card number 2 is a fun fold, and it uses up your designer series paper and a bit of ribbon. So the whole point is you pull this ribbon and there you go, it opens. And the other part of this fabulous dies are these ovals. So this one just cuts out the middle oval. This one cuts out the slightly smaller one, but it also cuts out an edging. So I've got some here to show you. So it cuts out the edging with the like stitching effect. Don't know if you can see. No, I don't think you can see it on there. But that's what you get on the edging. So this is a fun one. I stamped that, and then I didn't really think about where I can put my flowers. So I'm going to rearrange that a little bit. But hopefully I've got, sorry, I just banged the camera. Hopefully I've got everything I need, which is a piece of Secret Sea. Oops, crawling up my leg then. I hope it wasn't something crawling up my leg. Yeah, a bit of Secret Sea. Where's my tape measure? It's 10.5, should be 14.8. Yeah, 14.8. And then my paper is 14.3, and then it should be so 30.6, which is 12 inches. It's funny, I always go by, say it's 12 by 12, but then I use centimeters. I have no idea why. So that is going to then sit on there. So I need to just bring in my trimmer to do, whoa, sorry. Oh my goodness, I'm just such a klutz today. Right, let's get that back up there. Hopefully it's gonna, it's coming down. It's trying to move down. Okay, I'm going to need to measure this. I didn't write it down. So my score lines are going to be at, I'm just going to write this down, 10. I should have had everything prepped and ready, but because I spent, well, it was too hot Sunday and Monday to even come in here. It was just unbearable. Right, so that's 10. Then that is let's do it the other way. Come on. So, oh, I can't get my brain in gear. I am sorry. Right, so my first score line was 10. And then my second score line is 17.5. No, it's not actually, it's 17. If I get that right on the 10, it's 17.6. And then the next one, 10, 17.6, 25.2. And then the last one is 29, which gives you a little flap at the front. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's pop that out of the way. So this is the way I want it to be. I've already cut it. And so then you end up with this bit of the fresh freesia showing. You could do it that way and then you just have the flowers showing. But no, I think we'll do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to do it that way round because I want the biggest bit to be at the end, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start here. So 10 centimeters. And it is paper, so don't be too heavy with your scoring. I might need to be a bit heavier than that. I'm being a bit too light-handed, I think. Let's try it again. Third time lucky. There we go. Okay, so 10, 17.6. And 25.2. 25.2 and 29. That's for the little flap at the front. Okay, just get that out of the way. Try not to send the camera flying again. And I need my bone folder. Okay, so that's going to be my big bit that's going to go on the card base. So that's a valley. And then I want a mountain fold. And another one. And then lastly, this little flap here, which I'm just going to stick down. So I'm going to use some Seal Plus. There we go. So that's stuck down. Might have been just a fraction out of my measurements there, but it's okay. So then I'm going to take my Secret Sea. Love this colour. And that's where that is going to go. So let's pop some Seal Plus on there. There we go. Okay, so that is my card base done. Now, I've already cut a load of stuff. Let's see what we've got in here. So I've got a couple of the two-tone cardstock Secret C. I've got the smaller white one. I've got too many of those for some reason. And then I need my outside bit. And I've got the large one. So one of them, you want the large one for the front because the outer bit's gonna be glued to it. Okay. And then the inside bit, which doesn't, I did, what I did was I cut that in half and then just gave it a shadow, but I might just do the one shadow actually. I think that's a bit much. Okay, so I just need to do a little bit of stamping for sentiments. Just putting the fan on, I'm not sure it's going to really make much difference. So it says, I appreciate you so very much, but then it takes up right across the middle. So I think I'm just going to do thanks and then so very much. So thanks. And that's going to go on the bigger one. And I'm going to use Secret C. And I'm going to do it towards the bottom over on the right side. Need to do that at the right angle, otherwise I'm going to do it wonky. Thanks. Lovely. Beautiful font there. Thanks. What was it? Thanks so very much. And that's going to go on the other one. So you can see they're next to each other, a mama and a baby. Thanks so very much. I think I might need to wet that, it's a bit dry. Okay, let's get that ink out of the way. Right, so first things first. I'm going to need a black one to go behind here because I'm going to put the ribbon in between. So I'm just going to cut a piece of ribbon. There we go. Oh, that's probably too long. So let's get some glue dots. Just put that together. And then I want it to go on the back there. Okay. And I'm going to sandwich that now with the Secret C. And I'm going to use some wet glue for this. Okay, So let's see where we're at. So Very Much is going to go on the inside with a shadow like that. So I'm just going to, which side? That's that side. I'm going to do the edge of this one, edge of the white one. And this side of this one. Okay. See how much of a mess I get in. I don't know where my... There we go. And then that's going to go on the inside. Okay. And then this is going to sit over the top of it so you don't see it. So I just need to line that up. So it needs ink. Not ink. I'm just going to put a pencil line where my finger is. I can put glue all the way down there. And I'm going to line it up over the top of that and set it down. There we go. And then I just need to put my oval on the outside. So that's going to be, probably would be a good idea to use adhesive sheets. I did try on my first one. I'm not sure if that's one or two together actually. It might be two together. It is. There we go. Just going to hold that in place for a second. Oh, it's come off completely. Right, let's start again. So where there's excess glue, I can get that off with my little glue rubber. This is adhesive sheets would be much better, but you have to waste so much. And when that's dry, no, I'm going to take that off. It's just not working. Let's put the flowers on. So now I've got plenty of room for my flowers. I really struggled on that one where to fit my flowers in, but this one I've got much more. I've got loads of glue on here now. So I think I'll put this on and then we'll come back to this one at the end. Okay. And use a dimensional. It needs to be a mini dimensional. I'll use a half. And that could go there. And that can go there. Okay. So I'm going to leave that with the surround off. I can't get it on, and I'm going to have to come back and get all that glue off. Let's see if I can get it off now. Oh dear me. What a mess. Thank goodness for glue rubbers, that's all I can say. Where else is it sticking? It's all on my hands as well, which isn't helping. Okay. Yeah, so yesterday was my husband's birthday, and he said he wanted to go to the seaside, so we went to Worthing and had a meal at the end of the pier, the perch on the pier. It was fabulous. Okay, so I'm leaving that edging off. It's just too tricky to get on. If you use adhesive sheets, it's much easier. So that's the first way. So basically you hold it and then you pull it. I think it actually should be the other side personally, because well, no, maybe. Okay. Anyway, there you go. So that is fresh freesia. And then the flower is strawberry slush with a granny apple green stem. And I'm still trying to get the glue off. Okay, so how not to make a card basically with that one. So that's card 2. And then card 3 I think is my favorite. Okay, let me get rid of all this glue I've got on my hands. Okay, so I've used the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder. Then I've got a silver frame with the white, and then I've used one of our artisans used this paper, and when I first looked at it, I thought it had been knitted. It just looked so detailed. And this is the Friends of the Ocean. Yeah, Friends of the Ocean, which is designer series paper, which is on the last chance list, so it's at a great price. But I love the cleanliness of it, and I haven't put a sentiment because I think it would detract from it, and then just a little bit of a silver bow. So let's see if I can make that without messing everything up. Okay, I've got extra leaves, extra flowers. First of all, I thought these were leaves, and then I saw someone had used them as flowers, and I've seen both, but I think they actually are supposed to be flowers at the end of the stems, like I just did on that one. Okay, so it's a half A4 again, 21 by 14.8, scored in half at 10.5, which is the front. Yeah, there we go. Then I've done, the first time I did it, I cut this down to the correct size, which is 10 by 14.3. But when it had gone through the embossing folder, it was too short. So I left it at the full size. In fact, a bit bigger than the full size. So I'm going to pop that on with some wet glue. Just to give it a bit of texture. I love this embossing folder. Okay, let's just move that down a bit. Come on. That's it. Yeah, sometimes I don't think you need to put sentiments on cards, and they're just like that one. I think if you put a sentiment on it, it would detract from the flowers. Okay, so before we do now, have I got, I'm not sure if I've got do I have, no, I don't think I do. Okay, right, let's find my silicone mat. So that's actually going to sit inside it. So I'm going to pop this on here. It's probably a bit too much glue, but hey ho. Right in the center. And then I'm going to put, I thought I had adhesive tape on here, but I haven't. Trying to go right the way around. I think the reason is it's going to sit outside the oval rather than inside, which is why it didn't work on the other one. Come on. Oh, stop it. You need to stick down. I don't know if it's the heat, but it wasn't a problem before. Right, let's use my bone folder instead of the rubber, because the rubber's pulling it up. There we go. Okay. And then I've got my flowers. See here, I use these as leaves, but I do have some other leaves, so let's use those. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this. So it's I thought it was oh, is it tiger? The tiger, I can't remember. But it's not. It's pumpkin pie and melon mumbo. And then what I like about this, it's got a couple of gaps, so you can stick that there. And then my little pink one, I'll just go down here like so. And then I'm just going to tuck the leaves underneath. That one there, and we'll have one coming out the top. Like that. And then I've got all those ones left to use. So that's card number 3. That seems relatively quick today. There you go. Oh, I haven't done my silver ribbon. Let's do that. It's the double pack. It's an online exclusive. It goes with the gold. So you've got a silver and a gold. There we go. And I've got these fabulous ribbon holders from America. Go. So I'm just going to tuck that under there with a glue dot. There we go. Okay, so there's card 3, which is my favorite. Now, with that, I actually made exactly the same, but I ran the oval through the corrugated folder at an angle, and exactly the same flowers. And so that's a gift tag. You'd need to put another one on the bottom, on the back to write on. And then another card that I saw is using a designer series paper, and it's a fun fold, and it just opens up. So that's the same paper that I've used, because you've got the freesia and you've got the flowers, and yeah, and it does stand up. So that's cool. So I'll share those on my blog and my page next week. And next week's Friday with Fiona is celebratory sips, which I got in the sweet sale, and I haven't played with yet, but I've seen so much online. I'm really looking forward to having a play with that over the weekend. So thanks very much for joining me. Don't forget, if you spend £25 in my online store, I will send you the kit to make all 3 cards, and I'll die cut all the flowers and everything for you, the ovals, the edges. The only thing I can't do is stamp the sentiments, so just use what you've got. But thanks very much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Oh, that's the other thing to say. It's my birthday this weekend, so I've got a special offer, a special, I can't remember the phrase, but when you do buy with me, for every £50 or more that you spend, you will get a mystery box from me with the equal value. So if you spend £50, you'll get a box with £50 worth of products in, and that could be stamps, dies, punch, ribbon, embellishments, pretty much everything. And they'll be pre-loved but hardly used or unused at all. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye.